All right, here we are, folks. It is about 8:04. We're a couple minutes behind, but this is our October 15th monthly meeting of the Decriminalized Charleston group, part of Low Country Normal, project of Low Country Normal. The name may be a little bit of a misnomer moving forward, because I think we're going to try and focus more on smaller targets moving forward. So, pretty much our meeting tonight is going to be a recap of probably what I talked about last month. Um, I'm going to try and make it kind of short and sweet. I'll get this then edited, hopefully last month edited, and get them both out there. And be able to watch both of them pretty easily, hopefully without taking up too much of your time. Um, what's going on with our decriminalization process right now? If you're not aware exactly what that is, we have tried circulating voter initiative petitions to try and get a decriminalization ordinance onto the local ballots for the voters to decide. Trying to basically go with what we call zero fine, zero time, zero court cost decriminalization. That doesn't mean that a law enforcement officer still couldn't file state level criminal charges against somebody. But we're hoping that if we take the financial benefit out of it for the local municipality, that they just basically will shoo you along your way and probably confiscate your product. Um, with that said, there was a deadline on when we needed to get our number of certificates. And as I say, it's a voter initiative. So we need to have registered voters that are residents of that particular municipality, whatever one we're working on at the time. And we need to get 15% of the number of registered voter signatures, based on the number of registered voters at the last election date. Um, the last election date soon will be the upcoming November 5th elections. Um, so we missed the deadline date in August to get the numbers of signatures we needed for any of the three municipalities that we were working on: City of Charleston, Town of James Island, and City of Folly Beach. Um, our focus going forward is to go try to focus on smaller municipalities. So uh, we'll start with Folly Beach again as soon as we get the information that we need after the November 5th elections. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get that info. I should be able to request it the day after, and they should be able to have that for me relatively quickly. The number of registered voters there were in Folly Beach and I don't know if they even have an election, so it might go back to the original numbers we had. Uh, with that said, all of the signatures that we collected last cycle are all null and void. We have to start over from scratch. So, if you're out there and somebody says, I signed this already, I signed it last year. This is a new bout. It'll be the 2020 edition. Uh, and so it will, try and get them to sign again and see if we can get this moving forward, municipality by municipality, if we have to. I really had, I think, delusions of grandeur last time. I really thought I could inspire others to get together and be area coordinators and get their friends to gather up and go out and collect signatures at different events and parties or whatever it might be. Um, and it kind of turned out to be a couple of us, me a lot with the vendor booth, and uh, actually a couple of other locations that actually let us, more the brick and mortar locations that let us put our petitions out there, and even still the numbers of those were limited. Um, uh, Also, I think the challenge we have with this is when we hit just a small focus and when they get people from so many different areas kind of visiting, everybody wants to sign the petition. And yet they don't quite understand sometimes the rules that we have to play by. And if I'm not watching closely, or if one of our collectors isn't watching closely, we'll have people saying, "Oh yes, I'm from Charleston," and they'll sign the petition. And as we look at it closer, they are not actually City of Charleston; they're City of North Charleston, or they may sometimes be other small towns within the Charleston area, but they're not registered to vote in the city as a City of Charleston resident or some of our other municipalities. So that was a challenge. Again, if we can get some good, well-trained coordinators, I'd like to move forward with this. I'll tell you right now, we're going to focus immediately on Folly this coming season, Folly Beach. If the numbers are close to what they were last time, we're going to, which I'm sure they will be, we're going to need about 400 signatures of registered voters to get it on the ballot and cause a vote. And then it's up to the voters, 50% plus one. And it becomes a local ordinance. And I've watched in other municipalities outside of South Carolina where they get pushback by the local municipalities, law enforcement. They weren't going to listen to the ordinance, whatever the case may be. And those sometimes have had to play out politically and judicially. We'll take it where we have to take it. With that said, that's really what's going on with the Decriminalize Charleston project. It's going to kind of convert to a Decriminalize Folly Beach. If there's another small municipality that there's not a lot of voters in, that you think we can, maybe it's your community, and you think you could head up a drive to collect those signatures in that community, and we'll come out and help you. That's what we want to start doing, is to get the small communities, because we'll have smaller numbers of signatures that we'll need. When I took on the City of Charleston and found the number to be 15,000, originally I really didn't think it was a big deal. I really thought I could garner a small army of people. Delusions of grandeur, as I say. But that army will come. It's funny, over the past couple of weeks, month, talking to some different people and saying, "Oh, well, yeah, there was more supporters here before they legalized in other states." Or I've even seen it on posts somewhere, or something will be posted, and somebody will comment, "That's why I moved to such and such from Charleston. I don't have to deal with that crap anymore." Whether it's for their own medicine, whether it's for a family member, whatever the case may be, they prefer to relax over having alcohol. Let people have their choices. But anyway, I think it was just, like I say, a little bit delusional on my part to think I could get those kind of signatures here in Charleston, especially with some of the roadblocks that we've had on even getting our vendor booth out in certain public locations. With that said, we had been blocked by one of the departments, I guess you would call it, in Charleston, at being a member of the farmers market. They have a nonprofit location. I think they rotate different nonprofits into it. So we get a choice of what day might you want. I think the choice was 3 different dates. They'll flip a coin and see if they'll give you one. And they wouldn't give us one. But we've readdressed that with them and with the city's legal department. Of course, all of that stuff is done for this season. And as soon as applications are out for 2020, we will be applying to get at least 1 week, 1 day at the vendor booth there at the farmers market in downtown Charleston. With that said, I mean, we really can be out on the corner where there are other people doing free speech on the corner of King and Calhoun. But I believe it gives it just that little bit more, actually a lot more legitimacy, having a vendor booth within the market itself than just, I think we get a lot more attention. We can actually have a 10 by 10 space and not just a tiny little cart, which allows us to present a lot more information. And it puts us in front of a lot of people that I think might have a better opportunity getting some petitions signed, especially if we decided to do a regular basis type thing. That being said, a regular location like that probably would not be in our best interest, only because whatever the cost would be to have a regular booth there, and then what we would get is probably a certain number of locals that would come in and sign. We might have a mad rush in the beginning. It's going to kind of taper off once they know we're there, and they all run over whoever wants to, and then it will get trickles, drips and drabs. But I think as they talk about when I watch Shark Tank, the customer acquisition cost would probably be too much for us to have a regular booth there. So we're hoping that we do get at least one, and we wouldn't even mind if they gave us 3 different options, but I don't think they do that. We'll see how that plays out. I think that'll again help give us some momentum with whatever we do for our project moving forward. That's again not something that's going to happen until I think they start the market mid-April, maybe 3rd week of April or something most years. That's actually not even going to help us a lot with legislative stuff, because most of the legislative sessions are over by then, and, or mostly over, I believe, by then. Anyway, I'm rambling on here. I've been talking not too long. 10 or 15 minutes, kind of to myself. This will go out to posterity recorded. And I'm kind of, again, repeating what I talked about last month. So I did promise to be short. Contact me if you need to. I will put our web address and probably like an email down here, or in comments as we post it up to our YouTube channel. Come and find us on Facebook. We're a lot more active there than we actually are on our own website until we get some of that program a little bit more under control. Otherwise, have a great night. Look for us next month. Next month, after November 5th, we will have our meeting in November, 3rd Tuesday in November, 8 p.m. Don't forget it, please. We will be ramping up. I will be sharing a lot of information, I believe, at that one on what our next moves are and how we're going to get there. If I've had any response back yet from the voter registration board, if I have our numbers for our first town. If you have any suggestions in the meantime on small towns, small municipalities that you think we can get the signatures for, contact us. Again, look back where I put the email and the web address. Maybe I'll put them again. Have a good night. Thank you.